Yeah, there we go.
Thank you all for your time. Let's take a couple minutes to talk about seatbelts. Now, it's about junior year in high school, and my friend and I took out my dad's work truck to go see what it could do on some mountain roads. And we're doing donuts, we're spinning around corners, drifting. Eventually we get brave enough, we get on this long straightaway on this gravel road, and we do what pilots like to call takeoff power. We set that puppy and we got going pretty fast, and long story short, ended up on the side of the road. Truck was completely totaled and torn to pieces, and I think the main reason why my friend and I were able to walk away from it was because we were both wearing our 3-point seatbelts. Now, Edward J. Claghorn received the patent for the first ever lap safety belt on February 10th, 1885. A little bit archaic looking, but that means there's room for improvement. And I suppose another experience that allows me to talk about seatbelts is my brother and I went to the Imperial Sand Dunes down in Southern California. We saw this giant drift about like that one. Took the side-by-side up on it. Let's just drive on and see what happens. Got bogged down and ended up rolling about 7 or 8 times like a washing machine on spin cycle. And obviously him and I didn't have a scratch on us because we wore our roll cage safety belts. Alright, wearing seatbelts is a safe decision for improving traveler safety in all forms of transportation. Now, think about helicopters, airplanes, any automobile. There's tons of examples of safety belts. And there are 2 basic types of configurations. There's the 3-point safety belt and there is the 2-point lap belt. Now, looking at the 2-point lap belt, you see them in mainly older types of automobiles, and you do see them in like some new cars, like the middle seat, you know. And it works great for the lower body in the event of a crash, keeps you from moving, keeps you from having an unwanted evacuation. But the bad thing is, whiplash can happen, and that's an upper neck injury deal that can be fatal. So, thanks to Mr. Niels Bohlin in 1959, there at Volkswagen, he invented the 3-point lap safety belt that we use today. And has the same kind of design for the lower part of the body, covers the hips low. But then the other 2 points cover the upper hips, rib cage, and shoulder. So that way in the event of a crash, a lot of the force is put into those 3 sets of strong bones to protect your vital organs. Now, I do know that some forms of transportation make it so travel by seatbelt is impractical. Think about a school bus. You don't think about wearing a seatbelt when you're riding a school bus. And the reason why you don't have to wear one is because of the design they put into it. The seats are higher and closer together, kind of like shoving a bunch of sardines into a can. In the event of a crash, your body won't travel as far before it impacts the seat. The seat's meant to take in some of the shock, and it's high so that way you don't have that whiplash. You just kind of smack level into that seat. And most automobile accidents happen about 2 to 5 feet above the ground, like in an average car. But the average school bus puts the occupants about 7 to 10 feet above the ground. So that way you don't have any unwanted metal impacting human flesh. And just think about, let's see, your motorcycles, bicycles, ATVs. They use other forms of safety like leather jackets, padding, helmets. Now, wearing a seatbelt obviously increases your chances of survival absolutely exponentially. Went too far. That's okay. The 3-point has saved 14,668 lives in 2016 alone. And wearing seatbelts cuts your risk of any sort of injury or death in half in something what is known as a fatal accident. That means like a car wreck, 50 miles an hour or over, a head-on, T-bone, that kind of stuff, rollover accident. But obviously we do know that some people don't like to obey the law and some people don't think a seatbelt is necessary. And because of that, 2,456 lives were lost in 2016 in this country. Now, wearing a seatbelt is beyond simple. Like, it's a very simple solution, and it's beyond problem. And people that are higher up and smarter and better than us have already made those decisions for us and passed the laws for us. And we've taken a look at some, like there's a handful of examples where seatbelts are unnecessary and impractical. But Mr. Bohlin's invention is the answer to safe travel. Now, when we think about these politicians, these high-up people, these privileged people, why are they passing these laws? Why are they making us wear seatbelts? What do they care about us? They don't even know us. What do they care if I die? Well, the justification is simple: human race survival. Think about a hiker lost in the woods. A bunch of people band together, form a search party, and find that person. There's a natural disaster. Complete strangers band together to lend out a helping hand. It's an instinct within every single one of us that we all need to use for ourselves and others.